This video is brought to you by 86. Pick up video game apparel from Skullgirls and Monster Hunter World. 86.com/?AFF=4 and let them know that we sent you. Hello everyone, we are back with your, what do you call it? Tri-monthly?
Quarterly.
Quarterly.
Quarterly. We do if we're doing it every 3 months, it's 4 times a year. So.
Gotcha. With your quarterly, I want to say report, but no, just on a checkup of how we're doing, what's going on with the crew, and what's upcoming content is coming to the YouTube channel.
It's your quarterly checkup.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Ben didn't cough.
As you can see, right next to me is none other than Gregg Dietz. And
hello everybody, it's been a hot minute.
And then I am your host, Anthony, aka Clawmaster, aka future VTuber on the internet, soon to hit your store shelves when that happens this year. So, but I guess my first question is how's it going?
It's going okay. It's been a year since Animal Crossing came out, and we have not played Animal Crossing during an entire pandemic. How fucking nuts is that?
Yeah.
Like, fucking wild. But yeah, like I'm currently like I'm still playing a shit ton of Fall Guys. Fall Guys is like my jam. I don't know why I find it as fun as I do, but I'm real excited for season 4, which comes out Monday.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on that.
Their entire, yeah. Did you see the IGN article that came out today? About a new mode they're adding?
I didn't.
So they came out with a survey that was like, if you do the survey, we'll give you 5 crowns. So like everybody that I knew that played the game, I gave them the survey. And pardon me, they in it, one of the questions was about a squad mode. Like, is that something that would interest you? And almost everybody typed in yes. So they've been working on it. And my buddy that I play with, we've been discussing about how they could implement it, and like, would the entire squad have to get to the end in order to get a crown? Like, does everybody on the team get a crown? Like, how would this work, right? Because right now you can team up with up to 3 players, but if one person gets eliminated, they just have to watch everybody else, go through the match. So how could a squad mode be implemented? And the way that they want to do it is based on a point system. So you would go into a game with 15 other teams, and if you didn't have a full squad, you'd go in with some randos, and it would be like based on the points you get by either finishing a race. If I don't know how much of Fall Guys you might have played, Anthony, but there are different game types. So there's races, which are get to the end, cross the finish line, before like be top 43 top 43, top 30 or whatever. Then there are team-based games, which are as simple as it gets, like 3 to 4 teams versus each other. If it's fall ball, it's 2 teams. But I don't know how much of those will be implemented. But then there's survival, which is try to just survive. Like, one is called roll off and or roll out, one of the two. I think it's roll out, and it's 5 of these rotating spinners that alternate on each one. So this one's going this way, this one's going this way.
Yeah.
And there's gaps and walls on each wheel. That's a survival. So you just have to survive while a certain amount of players get eliminated. So if it's a race, based on your placement, so first, second, third, crossing the finish line, you'll get points for your team. The longer you survive on a survival map, you get points for your team. The team with the bottom 3 teams will get eliminated. So for instance, there's a group of guys I play with. One of them is not great. One of them is okay, and then the other guy that I play with all the time, him and I are really good. So, let's say we're on a race. It's the first race to the game, and I get first, my buddy gets third, another buddy gets 20th, and then the last guy who's really bad gets eliminated. Like, he doesn't cross the finish line in time. If there's 3 other teams that did worse than that, we don't get eliminated. We get to go to the next round. However, the person who got eliminated gets brought back in. So you only get eliminated as a team.
I see.
You just have to hope for the most points. But this also comes into play when it comes to elimination rounds. Like, let's say one of your teammates falls into the slime. He's no longer getting points for your team. So you have to try to start eliminating other players. You have to figure out who's on team together, so that way you can start getting rid of them and trying to eliminate their points. So it's I'm very excited about it. I think it's going to be fascinating. I know that with Mediatonic going to Epic, or being part of the Epic family now.
Yeah.
And then, of course, them hiring a ton of people after the game garnered a huge popularity there for a hot minute. They are going to do a lot of interesting shit. They're going to change up a lot of the stuff on the game, and I'm for one very excited. I absolutely fucking love Fall Guys. I literally play it just about every fucking night, and they have other features they said they're adding to the game. I have no idea what. All they've shown is 5 of the 7 matches they're bringing to the game, and now we know about. That was the other thing. They put out a tweet the other day that showed. Sorry, I don't know where that came from. They put out a tweet the other day that showed all the fixes they're making to the game.
Really? Cool. I didn't see that.
Huge. Yeah, here, let me see if I can find it, because like there are some things on. I'm not gonna read everything on the list, but there are some things on it that are not twatter, Greg. Jesus Christ. Twitter. Fall Guys. There are some things on the list that are like, whatever. It's like a minor fucking tweak. But it's the major tweaks. Oh, that was another thing. They're bringing a secondary Godzilla to the game on the 24th.
I didn't know.
Like, I don't know if you saw that.
I didn't know there was a Godzilla in the game. Oh wait, that's right, the costume. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the costume. The second Godzilla has like flame skin. I would argue he almost looks like what's the Godzilla that just came out in Japan? It's the latest Godzilla in Japan.
My knowledge.
Shin Godzilla.
Shin Godzilla. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of that.
Cool. That's super sick.
So, like hiring a fuck ton of people. You know, they have done incredible work at making the game just that much better. And here we go. Here it is. It came out on the 18th. Now I'm trying to click on the tweet to see the whole thread, but it's like, maybe. Okay. So it says, Season 4 has got an absolute unit of a bug list, so I'm going to do the biggest Twitter thread you ever saw in your entire life. Sit down, grab a pineapple pizza, gross, and let's go. New features and new levels will be announced later. This is only bugs. So, one of the big issues that people have with the game are ragdolling. You get slightly nudged by another bean.
Yeah.
The character just falls over some shit.
Yeah.
So they're going to make the bean sturdier. So there's no more ragdolling when another bean breathes in your direction or brushes past you in midair. Thank you so much for that.
Okay.
It says fix some ragdolling and excessive jumping issues on some rounds. For example, endless ragdolling on Hexagon after colliding with another bean. This is a huge issue. One of the strategies in the game in general is to grab other beans when it's necessary. So you're in the final, you're on Hexagon, and you grab a bean real quick, or you grab another player. The tactic is to grab them real quick, let go, and then jump to the side or try to jump over their head, and they just fall. Unfortunately, because of ragdolling, if they jump and just slightly brush your bean goes tumbling. Or on the inverse, somebody grabs you and you fall, you start ragdolling, you go down like 4 fucking levels. It sucks. So that's really nice. There has been an issue with when trying to climb a ledge, your character will not climb it. He'll just stand there for a second, get fall fatigue, and then drop. and that really fucking sucks. So they're fixing that. A bunch of fixes. Sorry, I'm trying to go through them quickly. Fall Mountain will now spawn players in a single line instead of having them like the way it's now. It's 5, 5, and 5. It can go up to 15.
Mm-hmm.
So imagine spawning on Fall Mountain and you're in the third row. You're at a clear disadvantage.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So yeah, so they I knew they wanted to fix that, but that's coming in season 4. So I'm super excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
So it said reduce network traffic usage, which should alleviate some of the latency related issues. One of the biggest issues with the game is sync issues. So a character will be here and a character will be here, and then suddenly they're here grabbing you. That's because of the latency issue. Or you're both running up to the crown, but you have a clear on your screen. You have a clear. Yeah, you both jump. They're clearly far away, but all of a sudden they win. That shit.
I'm curious. So in regards to that, what are they using for their net code? I
have no idea.
Okay, because
I have absolutely no idea.
Because the thing about it is like within the fighting game community, we recently we've been very more vocal about some of these fighting games to be played online because we're all stuck at home. We can't go to locals or majors for obvious reasons. One of the biggest things we have, or one of the things that a good comparison they did was delay-based netcode and versus rollback, and they kind of showed like, hey, Fall Guys, the moment where you're on your screen, you're way ahead, but then on the other person's screen, like they're actually the opposite of you. And there's a big disconnect between the two, and that is what happens oftentimes in delay-based netcode.
Yes.
So I'm curious to see if they're improving the netcode then, or if they're improving the latency, as you said.
Yeah, I think they're definitely improving netcode and latency because it is an issue with the game that they know they need to fix. They've talked about it publicly, or at least the head designer has, and. The problem is that they were an indie company and they did their best. I love Devolver Digital, but they're not exactly like the richest company.
Right.
They can only help with so much. So
right.
It was definitely a situation where I told people give them time. They're an indie company. Like they can only do so much.
Right.
But with the game's popularity, hiring a shit ton of people. There's a few small things. Like one of the weird ones was that there were invisible hexagons on like the tiles would just be invisible in spectator mode.
Oh, in spectator mode.
Whatever.
Okay, I thought you meant like in play, because I know the few times I played Fall Guys, there are definitely times on that map where I would grab onto an invisible hexagon and able to jump off it onto another one.
Okay.
Yeah.
They're gonna fix that. I personally haven't seen one that was in normal play, but I see it all the time in spectator mode. So, but that to me is less of an issue. Like,
right.
Yes, fix it, but it was like it had to have been on the back burner. Let's see. Fixed a post-processing flickering and missing Fall Guys X-ray outline. The player grabs a grabbable object within close proximity to the wall. Okay. One of the ones that was really strange was on both maps of Egg Scramble. The medieval one and the original one.
Oh, okay.
Like in season 3, all of a sudden like a cloud would flicker in the camera or something would happen where the whole game got really dark. And not dark where you couldn't see what you were doing, just like weirdly gray. And they're gonna fix that. To me, again, a back burner issue. It's not game breaking. It's not ruining the fun. Let's see. Fix a checkpoint not triggering on Tundra Run. Okay, yeah, I know where they're talking about that. Tundra Run's one of the new levels. There's a spot in the center where these gloves punch up.
Yes.
So they're in different positions.
Yeah.
If you get punched up high enough and go far enough, you'll actually go over the checkpoint and it won't trigger. So then if you fall off the next piece, you go all the way back.
Huh.
So they're going to fix that. So that's something I'm glad they're fixing, because I've experienced it like twice.
Right.
Yeah, a bunch of small things, but a lot of just quality of life things, really. Like, I know that on some base PS4s, if you go into the shop, it'll crash the game. So it looks like they're fixing that. But yeah, like I was absolutely blown away. I was like, this is an insane fucking bug fix list.
Yeah.
Like, it is massive. I've seen some. I've played a lot of games. I've seen some bug fix lists, but this one I was just like, you guys are above and beyond on this one. Above and beyond. I'm so excited.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it makes sense now that they have support, more support than before. More money, a bigger company that they can have not only funds with, but like able to like resources they're unable to get to before. Possible better netcode. Like, yeah, it seems like a lot of with this Epic deal, like they gained access to a lot of stuff that they wanted to do, and now they can do. So I'm excited for them.
Here's the funny thing. The thing with Epic is less of a. The thing with Epic is not happening right away. They are still with Devolver Digital for right now. I think that the Epic transfer, or that when they will go to Epic, is when they go to Switch and Xbox. So that way, people who've been playing on PS4 or PC for this long ass time can either cross-play or cross-save with other systems.
Yeah, that would make sense.
And I honestly, I'm really hoping for both. I'm really hoping they go the Fortnite route with it, so that way, I can have all my skins that I've earned over the past however many months.
Yeah.
On the Xbox or whatever.
Yeah. Fall Guys is gonna. It was already big as it is when it came out last year, and it has long-lasting legs coming into this year, but. It's going to go through another explosion because of, as you said, it would make perfect sense of like waiting until they get onto the Switch, waiting to get onto other platforms. Not to mention, it is coming to Game Pass as well, so that's going to be another huge thing for them.
Is it?
It is.
Because I didn't read that it was.
Yeah, it's coming to Game Pass. Last I remember hearing about it, I believe it was going to be this year.
Yeah, they're both coming to Switch and Xbox in August. Like basically a year after it came out
Yeah.
And people have expressed like, hey, I didn't get to play the game on PC or PlayStation for a whole year. How am I going to be able to get skins from past seasons that I've seen other people use? And I hope that there's something that they do to accommodate that, because I would hate to see people get discouraged and not play the game because of those reasons.
There's some talk that because of the Epic buying them up and put it within the Epic family, that there's some talk that Fall Guys is going to go free to play, and that the microtransactions will come in with skins that people can buy.
I wouldn't be opposed to that. I just don't want to see the skins go the route that they do in Fortnite or Rocket League. They're expensive. They're really expensive.
I see what
in
you're
both
saying.
games.
I see what you're saying.
Like, right now in Fortnite, they have a shit ton of like really rad fucking skins. Ryu and Chun-Li, the fucking Xenomorph and Ridley, the T-800 and Sarah Connor, like some dope fucking skin. Predator, just rad fucking skins. And the biggest thing that would upset me is if they went the free-to-play route and they had the microtransactions in there, which I get why, it's a free-to-play game, it needs to be supported somehow.
Yeah.
And charge, fucking 10, 15, 20 bucks because they're like, hey, kids, do you like fucking Spider-Man? Because we got him in the game now. I'd be like, this fucking sucks. I don't want to spend $20 on a skin.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna do it, and it would really be disheartening to see that. So,
right.
But
we'll definitely see. I think I wouldn't mind it going free to play. I don't mind having microtransactions for skins, because from the times I play Fall Guys, like I'll play Fall Guys like every so often with friends, or sometimes like, you know, hey, you just pop in just see what's going on. So I don't have that many crowns to begin with. But if there's an option for me to say like, hey, I would like the Doom skin, let me give you $5. I'll buy the skin and I'll be happy. So like I
would be okay.
Yeah.
I would be okay with, like, here's my biggest issue. The game's economy works off of kudos and crowns. And you can only get crowns by winning. Kudos are earned just by playing the game, but you can also spend real world money on kudos.
Oh, okay.
So if a skin comes into the game and it's like fucking 10,000, or I don't know how much you buy fucking kudos for, but if it's like the skin is $5 or $5 worth of kudos, I'm cool with that. Totally fucking cool. But don't change the economy of the game. Allow me to still grind out that fucking kudos, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But the other issue that I have is that, and my buddy and I have talked about this a lot, crowns are the major way to get fucking rad skins. You know, I've earned 67 crowns now, and I currently in my bank have 33. The last like big purchase of skins was the fucking Cuphead Mugman. That was 20 skins or 20 crowns total.
Huh.
But that, I mean, even in that regard, like, let's say a fucking rad skin comes out and it's like $5 or 5 crowns, I'd be okay with that, because that way I still know that I can get it without having to spend money that I don't have,
right,
or don't want to spend on it. So I think there's a way to do it. There's a line you have to walk, but I think at the end of the day, what Fall Guys absolutely needs at the end of the day, regardless of skins, regardless of all that shit, is a consistency of map reveals, a consistency of additions to the game. The game lives off of its Wipeout style. It's obstacle course. It lives off of that. So, you know, when a new season comes out and they're like 7 maps, as much as I love that, it ain't enough. Like a solid 12 would be sufficient. And I say that because the seasons last about 2.5 months. In between that, at some point, they come out with a 0.5 version, which is just updating like courses to have new obstacles that we've already seen pop into the game. So if, for example, they only have, you know, they come out with 12 maps in a season, and then halfway through the season they do no maps, and we just get like 12 every 2.5 months, that's what I want to see. That's what I want to experience. I mean, how long is a season in Fortnite? How long is a season in Rocket League, you know? People come back to these games for a variety of reasons, and I don't want to see people, you know, like, people have already left the game because they think that it's gotten stale or got boring, and that breaks my heart a little bit, because I don't want to see this game die because streamers aren't playing it anymore or whatever. So
let me tell you, as a man who's played a particular game for 7 going on for 8 years, who's often heard about a dead game, no one plays it, why is anybody talking about it? Let's go play the next new thing. As long as there are players, there will always be a team playing it, or for however long the company keeps the servers on. So I wouldn't worry about it.
I get what you're saying. I mean, there's not a whole lot. There's not a shit ton of people still playing Overwatch, but there's still enough people playing Overwatch where the game is still on. So I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. That and the porn from it, but yes.
So I do want to talk to you about the news with Evo, but first I have to tell you something fun.
Okay.
So Halo Infinite was delayed until November, right?
Yes.
Which is a good idea. I'm not against it. The game did not look finished when they first showed it, so I totally get it. However, it was supposed to release roughly now. That wasn't its original release date. Was March-ish. Because of this, Microsoft made a deal with Pringles to make a chip flavor to tie in.
I totally forgot. It's right. They made a deal with a bunch of other companies for our marketing, and they couldn't take it back. I totally forgot about that.
So now here's the funny part. So if it was just like, hey, we're gonna slap Master Chief on the side of the Pringle can, great. I would totally be like, okay, that makes sense. They did that shit with Lucio. They did that shit with other characters from Overwatch, and I've seen it with other franchises too. But they don't really change a flavor. They just slap a character on the side of the can that is the same color as the can or some shit like that. In this promotion, they actually went out of their way to make a new flavor. So, do you remember much about Halo Reach?
Yeah.
Okay. There are these ostrich-like looking birds. Ostrich-like, I would say they're a cross between an ostrich and a fucking dodo. But they run around. You can kill them in like the beginning of the game. But when you get into the city, like major city parts of Halo Reach, you can see billboards. You can see advertisements for the MOA burger. The MOA is the name of the animal.
Oh.
and so Pringles decided to do their best at approximate flavor of a MOA burger.
Okay.
So the flavor is interesting because it doesn't taste like a burger. The best way that I could describe the taste is like if you took 75% ostrich meat and then about 25% hamburger, like beef, mix that together with like spicy mayo, and then put like a Colby Jack on top of the burgers with like sauteed onions. That's what this tastes like. It's good, but it's like hard to fucking describe.
Damn. I mean, it sounds hell of a burger. Like, damn, I'll eat that.
I mean, the picture here has 4 patties, so there's that. I don't know how well.
Yeah, no, it's coming up. I see it.
Yeah. So we have a Pringles flavor for a game that's not out for a fictional fucking thing.
That is a very deep cut, honestly. Like
it is hilarious to me. I'm just like, how like as who makes Pringles? Lay's?
I believe it's Lay's.
Does it want to fucking tell me?
I mean, there is internet. I can actually look it up. Who makes?
Yeah, I just thought I could see it on the can, but I think Pringles just might be their own company.
No. So it is by Kellogg's. No, wait, no, hang on, I get it right. Which owned by Procter and Gamble, makes stacked potato chips serve. Can offer itself to Kellogg's to nearly $2.7 billion in cash. So I guess it's Kellogg's. I believe so.
Yeah, it was just I just wanted to share that because like I'd read about it. I think IGN put an article or something, or Polygon, and they were like, "How weird is this? This fucking this flavor is out." And sorry, I'm trying to see something on my camera real quick. And we don't have a game associated with it. It's just here. It's just out. There's no rhyme or reason.
Right.
Fucking so funny to me. Pringles is like, we have to put it out. Like, we made it. We spent this money on it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's you know, it's not. Is it gonna be rare? Is it gonna be something where like you hang on to that and like sell it like years later? Is it gonna make a rare item?
I don't know. I mean, like, do you ever watch Rhett and Link on YouTube?
I don't.
They have a a weekday morning show called Good Mythical Morning.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Okay.
They have a segment. They've done a segment a few times where they'll go to eBay and they'll buy some old food that, you know, is discontinued, and then they'll try to eat it if it's edible, and then say whether to bring it back or not. In certain situations of those, what they do, which is really funny to me, is that they'll say how much they bought it for. These never go for a high price. And if they do go for a decently high price, it's because they're like stupid fucking old to where you probably shouldn't eat it.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I meant like the can, not the food itself.
Well, even then, like it's just like it would have to be a situation where like there's some huge fucking Halo fan 20 years from now who's like, I need that in my life. And I don't think they exist. So, but I could also be wrong about that. I don't fucking know.
True, very true.
So, okay, back to topics that matter. What the fuck happened? Like, how did Sony acquire Evo?
So, here's what here's my gut and kind of watching other people talk about it, and then also the articles that were put up about it. So as of, I want to say, when was this announced? This was announced on the 18th. So as 2 days before this recording, or after this recording, I should say, Sony bought Evo. If we go back in time to last year, what happened? Evo was canceled because the owner, one of the co-founders, Mr. Wizard, turns out to be a pedophile and a douchebag.
Oh, cool. Neato.
Yeah, and there were, at the time when that broke out, at first Evo announced we're looking into their matters. The Mr. Wizard, Joey, it does not work here anymore. He's gone. But because of that and the rolling tide of everybody dropping out, it even came down to the 4 or 5 games that were announced that were going to be at Evo. The actual game companies themselves took themselves out. So, was it NetherRealm took out Mortal Kombat? What was it? It was them. It was, I want to say, Microsoft, I think it said at some point that they're taking out Killer Instinct, and it was good. And Dim's Fine Herds developers said the same thing, and I'm pretty sure Skullgirls is going to be the last one as well. So not only were you getting such backlash from the community and from people dropping out that were going to be commentating for last year's Evo, but also you had game companies backing out as well. It wasn't a good look. So they eventually just said, we're canceling it. We can't. With what's going on, we have to cancel it, and hopefully maybe next year be better. So because of that, looking at that backdrop, no one knew what exactly Evo was going to be for this year, even if it was going to come back in what shape or form after what happened last year. And even then, people, if it came back without Sony's activation, but partnership acquirement, if it was on its own, people would still wonder. It's like, should I go back to Evo? Should I still go back to a tournament that is very, you question a lot of the things they've done in the past, especially from last year. So what I've heard, and this is something that, isn't 100% true, because I'm not sure if that information will eventually get out, as far as why this deal happened. But my guess is that the people who run in Evo, or the co-founders, kind of looked themselves in the mirror and said, hey, we need to change our look. after what happened last year. We need like a fresh start. And Sony has out of all the game companies, Sony have been the one that's been in the last generation had the most fighting games on PS4 and was the console of choice for a lot of fighting game tournaments. So it was easy for them to hop on board and say, hey, we can help you guys out. Back going further back, Sony has definitely shown an interest in the FGC. They funded Street Fighter V's tournament series at one point for a good amount of money. So they're already shown interest, and they wanted some sort of esports thing with their system. So they it doesn't surprise me that Sony takes up Evo, and the Evo staff kind of like, here, take this, let's have a fresh start, let's try to change things that were used to be run by a lot of grassroots situations to the point where Evo is such a huge thing that you need more help than the volunteers are helping out. As much talent as there are, I think that is a good move on both parties.
Yeah, I was gonna say that I saw Nintendo put out a thing where they said that they're gonna continue being at Evo or something like that. So
they're gonna continue to assess the situation. Because now comes the interesting part where now you have Sony owning Evo. More than likely, they'll be promoting Sony products, Sony games in between breaks, like in between top 8s and throughout the entire weekend. Does Nintendo really want to be a part of an event where they're promoting PS5s over Nintendo Switches? Right.
No, I totally get that. That's why I was sitting there thinking, like, Sony owning it, is that like a how do I say this? Is that a full on an acquirement, or is it like they just own Evo, but Evo is still its own thing? But it sounds like it's the thing I said the first time, where they're taking it, they're gonna run with it, they're gonna make it a fucking Sony event. Yeah.
So I had the article here. It's both Sony Entertainment and RTS. And I'm assuming RTS is a esports company that's going to coincide work with Sony on these Evo events. And I'm pretty sure at some degree, some of the Evo staff that used to work there as well. So, but as far as like they completely own Evo, then yes, absolutely. And what has been said is that they're not going to force everybody to play on PS5s. They said that they're keeping it an open platform, so it's going to be if there's games on PC that you want to run tournaments, which I've already announced that Tekken 7 is going to be run for Evo on the PC. They plan to do so. And
it's just if the game is on PS4 or PS5, it'll run on PS4, PS5. Period.
Yes, and I'm pretty sure they'll probably take a much more. If it's a Sony game or running on a Sony platform, I think they'll take that much more of a precedent over other consoles. Right. But they said it's open-ended. As far as like how long is that gonna last, I am not sure. If I was a betting man, a year, because I
think we'll like, because that's the other thing is that we're still in a pandemic. Is Evo going to even happen this year? Mm-hmm. Will it be a situation where you can only qualify if you prove that you've been vaccinated or some shit like that? So how is that gonna? Because I know that Comic-Con and E3 are definitely not happening this year, regardless. Mm-hmm. We might see Comic-Con next year, but definitely not E3 because E3 is gonna die. But will we see Evo this year?
We are. So they're going to do Evo online again. This time, hopefully, nothing else breaks down or nothing big comes out of this year. But it is happening, and they already announced 4 games that are going to be happening at this year's Evo, with more announcements to come. Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate is going to be one of them. Tekken 7, which I said before. Street Fighter 5 Championship Edition, and Guilty Gear Strive are the 4 games announced, with more games to come on their website. So So the thing is, though, is like the biggest thing with these games, and the biggest thing that's been happening in the past year with the FGC is just like the consistent outcry of we need rollback in a lot of our fighting games, because a lot of if you don't have rollback in your games, you have delay-based netcode or any other netcode, they don't tend to do well online. Like, they can be a great game offline, like, or locally, but like if you try to play Dragon Ball FighterZ online against somebody who is in the East Coast, Midwest, or even nearby you, five out of 10 times, it's not gonna be a great connection. You're gonna get lag spikes like here and there.
Yeah, my buddy, his son loves playing Dragon Ball FighterZ, and we were playing against him, and he's been practicing quite significantly where I don't, because I just don't play the game outside of playing it there at their house. And his son will just wipe the fucking floor with me. My buddy puts up a better fight than I do, but good lord, his son is just destroys. And so I said, I want to see how good you do online, and he was doing really, really well. But I noticed something popped up at the bottom of the screen, and it was like, it just said frames, and it had a number next to it. And I was like, is that how many frames you're losing a second while playing? Because his was only at like 5, and I was like, that's not too bad, right? Like, if it gets higher than, I think, 10, then it gets really shitty.
Yeah, it gets, yes, the more frames that are dropping, the worse it gets. Like, try.
Yeah, well, I assume that much, but
yeah.
I'm thinking like, what's the cap that's like, I can't handle this anymore?
How big is your sanity?
Fair point.
It's like reaction times. Like if I like, basic example, I'm a doctor, you come to my office, you're here for my checkup. You know that thing that you hit on your knee, and every time you hit it on your knee moves up?
Yeah.
Same thing. If I hit your knee and it takes 5 minutes to move up, that's exactly equally the same thing of if you're playing an online game and there's a delay of frames of 10 or 15 frames. Like, when you push a button, that move won't come out until like ages ago.
Well, that's exactly what, because like, back to Fall Guys for like a second. There was a big problem with base PS4s when it first came out. Yeah. It was only running at 30 frames a second, and it was causing massive controller delay. I didn't realize this was a thing. A buddy from Half Empty had kind of mentioned it, and I was like, no way, he's just exaggerating. Like, it can't be that bad. Then he plays on a PS4 Pro, and he's like, oh my god, it's like a fucking different world. I'm like, it can't be that bad. Like, and so I bring it up to the two people that I was playing with, my buddy that I've been talking about here, and another friend.
Mm-hmm. And
they both were just like, oh yeah, there's a delay. There's 100% a delay. And I'm like, what the fuck? So I go to my buddy's house, I bring my PS4, and we set it up next to each other. Holy shit, it was bad. Like, I'm talking like jump. Not, I press this button, and in less than half a second, my character jumps. You know that. You played on PC. You know how it works. Jump is not acceptable. They couldn't figure out for the longest time why that was happening. And then just before Season 2, they had recognized that base PS4 was not running at 60 frames per second. So they updated it, and my buddy goes, like, we started to play Season 2, and he just goes, holy shit, like, it's 1-to-1 right now. And I was like, what? He goes, yeah, they must have updated the delay, because I'm not having any troubles. I was like, awesome. Fucking awesome.
Welcome to our world. Welcome to the FGC in the last year or two.
Oh, no, I get it. I totally fucking get it. Like, if there's frame droppage, even in person, it's unbearable. A lot of these fighting games, especially like the 2D fighters, require like fucking split-second reaction times.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's a delay, that split-second reaction doesn't fucking... One of my favorite moments, Anthony, is from a long time ago. I believe it was still in Evo, But like a dude is playing as Chun-Li and another one is playing as Ken, I believe.
Ah, yes.
And Chun-Li has a move where you can parry, but you have to be perfect with it. And the dude like parried every fucking one, and then got the final shot on Chun-Li and got her. I was like, it's an amazing fucking clip. You couldn't do that online. Period.
No.
I don't think it's possible online.
Well, depends on the game.
I suppose so.
Yeah, the game and also the connection. But yeah, the clip you're mentioning, that is Daigo versus Justin Wong. Third Strike at Evo. Infamous clip. Absolutely. Could you do the same thing online? Yes, but it depends on a lot of things. Connection, internet, and the game. So yeah, it technically, yes, it can be done, but is it better than offline? No. Like, offline's always going to be better because like you're 1-to-1, and there are games out there that could come close to it, that makes it very fun to play and enjoyable. But you know, it's not always guaranteed like you're gonna have a good connection. Sometimes you play a game that has really good netcode, but that person on the other end has a bad internet. No matter what, no matter what you do, no matter how good the netcode in the game is, you can't fix bad internet or Wi-Fi for that matter.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like, I was really excited when Smash Brothers was going to be coming to, was going to be online. I was like, fucking sweet, I can play my friends on the East Coast and whatnot, and then we play, and I was like, this is unplayable. It's just fucking unplayable, especially if you have multiple people in the arena, because apparently, from what I was reading, when you have other people in the arena that are watching, it's using their connection too. And so, like, let's say you have two people, they could be fucking neighbors, but if you have a friend that's just spectating in, like, the other side of the country, it's gonna lag. And I'm like, that is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers.
You know what the thing I'm gonna say is gonna blow your mind is that they already put lag in Smash Ultimate in offline.
What?
5 frames of lag.
What? Why?
Nintendo.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I know they were the same company that added a fucking random ass trip mechanic. So.
Right. There is. I can't really explain why that's put into the game. It could be that Sakurai and Nintendo is just consistently telling Smash people, hey, we hate you. We're going to put stuff in the game so you can't play this competitively. But people still do it and still are used to it. So I have no idea.
It makes sense why the people who play Melee are like, I don't want to play anything other than Melee, because, I feel like every game since Melee has had something in it that is just a big middle finger to the competitive community.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say this before we move on to whatever else, unless you want to keep going, which I'm okay with. Because, for those who don't know, I play Skullgirls competitively for a very, very long time. I love the game. I should probably talk about that actually here in a second. Love that everything is coming to the game and the community behind it and just everything about the game. Love. In regards to, will it be back at EVO? Because it was one of the games invited last year. I think it has a good shot, but it's in a very weird position because it is right now the ownership is between 2 companies right now, technically 3, between Autumn Games, Hidden Variable, which is the mobile game developers who are helping with the development of Skullgirls, and Future Club, who was the ex-Lab Zero employees, who are basically just a bunch of artists with no coder, came together and made their own gaming company, and now are having hired to work on this on the future Skullgirls content. It's in a weird position, and most of the updates are on PC. There has no updates on consoles yet, but the option for PC said in the statement for Evo, is an option. So if it were to happen, it could. I'm not sure if it's going to be at Evo this year. I think it's up in the air. I think there's a good shot, but it's in such a weird situation. And I don't know heads or tails if it's happening or not. So, which, you know, the Skullgirls community is very divisive when it comes to being part of Evo or not being part of it. So, but yeah. Speaking of Skullgirls, I do want to mention real quickly because SG the Skullgirls game in the community has gone through a hell of a lot in the past year. My God, I cannot wait for the documentary.
Yeah, I've been kind of watching that like unfold on Twitter. I'm like, I think I texted you once. I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" And you're like, "A lot."
Yeah,
fucking a lot right now.
Yeah. It went through the shit. Like there was a point last year where when stuff was going down and people were wondering what the hell I'm talking about, look it up. It's basically the Mike Z, the former or the I guess now 100% owner of Lab Zero Games, pretty much shit the bed with its employees and imploded the company because he was selfish and didn't want to have an equal copay. When all that was happening, when he made those statements on a stream, that was a very untimely racist joke on stream during a tournament, to him being called out for his sexual harassment against 2 women, all in the same month and a half. It was pretty insane. There was a time for me and a lot of people were really questioning, it's like, should we continue to play Skullgirls? Like, it came to that point to where, do I really want to play a game and support a company that this man was still a part of?
The one thing that I saw a lot of was, specifically, the one that really surprised me was, I can't think of his name for some reason. I want to say Star Fox, and that's not right. Jesus Christ.
Sonic Fox, yeah.
Yeah, he was kind of expressing it. He was basically like, we can't allow the actions of one person who worked on a game that was made by a bunch of other people to completely sour our enjoyment of said game. I think his name was Mike, but then he ended up with like "fuck Mike," "love Skullgirls" or some shit like that. I was like, yeah, that's to me, that's how you should handle that situation. Like, yes, it fucking sucks. It absolutely sucks. One of your favorite actors or one of your favorite shows or something like that has a super fucking problematic person behind it, and that hurts. That really fucking hurts. It's like, there was something recently that I really enjoyed. And it turned out like the creator was a big piece of shit. But should that stop you from enjoying said thing? Mm-hmm. Like Harry Potter, for example. J.K. Rowling is an absolute fucking monster. I fucking hate her. But she did create something that it was a cultural milestone. So should that stop people from enjoying Harry Potter? No. Because it's ours now. To an extent. You boycotting the new Harry Potter game coming out, that makes sense to me. Why? Because Warner Brothers has said she gets money from that.
Mm-hmm.
You not wanting to give her more money totally makes sense. But the inverse of that is like, don't burn your books because of this.
Right.
I think one of the things I saw really funny to me was, this was the dumbest one too. Good Lord. It turned out like Bakugo or something, like I think it was Bakugo. His birthday was announced as April 20th.
Oh yeah.
And so a bunch of fucking idiots were just like, it's same birthday as Hitler. It's clearly he's a Nazi sympathizer. And then there were videos of people burning their mangas, burning their My Hero mangas. I'm like, what logic is that?
Yeah.
Like, how do you make that kind of fucking leap?
Yeah, there's I saw that. It's dumb.
But it goes in the same light with me. It's like, even if that was true, and it turned out Horikoshi was a Nazi sympathizer, Yeah, I'd probably stop reading and stop watching the manga, or stop watching the anime. It would suck real fucking hard. But I don't think that would stop me from enjoying what was already out there.
Yeah.
It wouldn't stop me from loving what I've already enjoyed about my hero. So I think in the same vein, I don't think that anybody who's enjoyed Skullgirls should stop playing Skullgirls. I don't think that the fighting game community should completely write off Skullgirls.
Absolutely. And because of the continued support, like when after a couple, I mean, thankfully, and it happened actually, I think in the same day too, which is crazy. Because at the end of, I forgot what day it was, but I think when the former Lab Zero employees were coming out and saying that they're leaving, I'm not supporting Mike anymore, and there was a lot of limbo from a lot of people. It's like, you know, is Skullgirls dead? Is it no longer being supported by a company? Is it just kind of as is? And you know, luckily, because these partially two fronts, because of the success of SG Mobile, the mobile Skullgirls fighting game, because of that and the continued support from the community who's run tournaments, who's shown support in other ways, Autumn Games, the publisher who holds the rights to the IP, which if Lab Zero owned that rights to the IP, Skullgirls would not be in this position today than it was back then. Because of that, they were able to take that IP out from Lab Zero Games and give it to another company to work on it. And basically, Autumn Games, the publishers, sees the response, sees the community and the ongoing support, and looks at everything and basically said that there's enough support here for Skullgirls than we initially thought. The mobile game is doing fantastic. There's such a grassroots.
Oh, there was a mobile game.
Yeah, that mobile game basically saved Skullgirls because it was on that day, same day or a day or two afterwards. Hidden Variable partnered with Autumn Games to basically continue development of Skullgirls for future Skullgirls content. And it was during that day, I remember talking to my friends and talking to other SG players, and we were all very bummed of what was happening. We weren't sure what was going to happen to the scene and everything. And then when the news broke, we were all basically crying. Just like, oh my god, the game is saved. The company is going to continue to support Skullgirls. And then months later, we find out that there's a season pass coming to the game, to like a 7-8-year-old game that has never had the light of day. And to see that happen, and to see this year being just nothing but positive stuff for Skullgirls, it's weird and it's one of the few.
Yeah, it's. Everyone had a really shitty 2020. Everyone did. But it seems like Skullgirls had a really fucking roller coaster of 2020.
Yeah. It was rough. There's a thing about the game that we often joke about, because if you look at the history of Skullgirls development and what it went through, like, that game is cursed. Like, if you look at the history, like, the game was made and then it went to a publisher, and then it got taken down because that publisher canceled it or for some reason didn't like it. Separation, brought it back from the dead for Indiegogo, came back to another publisher, able to run it, and then the list goes on. Like, it is just laughable at the amount of bad luck this game has brought. And so we're all just waiting here, just like, when's the other shoe gonna drop? Like, there's too many good things happening to this game this year. When is the other shoe going to drop at some point? And maybe this year it finally doesn't. And you know, I'm very happy for the scene, happy for the game, happy that there's going to be an actual season pass. Like, and if it does well, like, there might be more. Like, it was a long time Skullgirls player. Like, it's just insane to see just the amount of support and changes and everything that's come to this game. And like I said, whenever that documentary comes out, it's gonna be one of the best documentaries in the FGC.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out. Because did you end up watching the small documentary that they did on Tim the Tatman for Fall Guys?
I did actually. I actually went and checked it out. Yeah.
God, that is so fucking fun to watch.
Oh yes, it's so good.
And the only reason I bring that up is because I would love to see, maybe not a documentary exact that style, but a doc that, you know, conveys that same sense of, like, it was more about the camaraderie and the entertainment value than it was anything else for the fan. Because honestly, like, the way that you talk about Skullgirls, I imagine others talk about Skullgirls. And to you, it's not about other superfluous shit. It's about playing the game. It's about having fun. It's about the community. And to disregard that because of some other fucking bullshit, you can't do that. You just can't do that. And so I would hope the documentary goes the route of, like, at the end, like, it becomes super fucking heartwarming and showing fans smiling and laughing while playing the game. And
yeah. I can't wait. Whenever that happens, I did ask or did tag somebody that has done FGC documentaries before, and he said that he might look into it in May and start making it. It's like, if that happens, we're definitely in there. We're giving everything we got, info-wise and history. So, yeah.
I could make a documentary. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
It'd be fun to do. Like, I love documentaries that just go over the course of actions of something.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not the world's biggest fan of, like, documentaries, because the biggest problem with documentaries, in my opinion, is that they always have an agenda to push.
Yeah.
And but, like, if I'm watching a documentary, I want it to be about a story. I want it to be a story of what happened, not so much what they think happened or their opinion on it. I remember when I was younger, and one of the big documentaries that I watched all the fucking time, or, like, just would watch these style of documentaries, was Michael Moore documentaries.
Same. I would watch them a lot too, actually.
They're garbage. They're absolute fucking shit. And it's mainly because Michael Moore, he is a, I don't want to say con artist, but he doesn't show the whole picture, ever. He'll show parts of it. He'll do some clever editing to pull at your heartstrings in some way. A perfect example is in Fahrenheit 9/11. He shows a bunch of clips of kids in Iraq or Iran. I don't remember. It's been so long. Playing in the streets with a ball, and they're having fun and they're laughing, and then it shows bombs.
Yeah.
That's shady, fucking creepy ass editing.
It is. I get why. I
get why too. I fucking hate it though.
Yeah.
And that's what I talk about with documentaries. Like, if you start doing that shit, I'm gonna be irritated. I'm gonna be really fucking irritated. But there's a few documentaries that I've watched that I thought were really cool in that regard. There's one, I don't remember what channel it's on, but it's a video game documentary. It goes over the course of, like, the making of certain games.
Is it No Clip?
I don't think it's No Clip. Hang on, let me look it up. But no, we reviewed it for the podcast. But it's a bunch of episodes, and each episode goes over, like, two things. Video game docu. Is it Netflix? It might have been on Netflix. High Score.
Okay.
That's what it's called. High Score. Yeah, the way they go through this documentary is really interesting because, okay, I didn't ask you to pull up fucking Netflix. Yeah, the way that they have you, kind of go through the shows is that there's two stories that are side to side, and it'll kind of tell you about one of them, but it'll switch between them constantly, and then it'll have some connection between them, and it's really fucking cool. One episode was about how the FX chip for like Star Fox was made, and it actually started on Game Boy. Apparently these two guys were fucking with a Game Boy in their garage and got like 3D graphics to work on a Game Boy. So Nintendo had heard about this, got those guys, flew them to Japan, sat them in a business room, and were like, "Can you develop that for the Super Nintendo?" So
that's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, the documentary, like, I highly recommend it. I really fucking enjoyed it. But like Tiger King, that is a documentary that I take with a big grain of salt.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Because one of the big things that it does is it says Carol Baskins killed her husband and fed him to tigers, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did she? Did she actually do that? We don't know. That was entirely hearsay. That was entirely the documentary's creative vision, if you will. Like, yes, other characters had said that they believed that. There was no evidence. No evidence that it was a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, like that's my point. Is that I really like, if they do a Skullgirls documentary, I'm gonna really enjoy it because it'll be a true story.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll be something that actually happened. So
yes, absolutely.
But that's all I'm getting at.
Mm-hmm.
So, sorry, I was going on a tangent there trying to make a point. But...
No, it's perfectly fine. It's perfectly fine. We're coming up on time. It's going to go longer. So I will say this because I feel like it's been a year since COVID happened, and you know, by the time this recording, because last recording we weren't sure about what's going to happen with the freaking presidential race. I think at the time when we recorded in December, I think it was, or no, at that time it was already been decided.
So the last call that I have from you in my on my Discord was December 20th.
Okay. So
I think we recorded around then.
Okay. You know, everybody remembers where where we're at when we were told to be sent home from work. I remember it was actually a couple days ago, like March 16th, or I think it was like 17th. Like I got the call from my boss, and my company basically said, like, stay home. You know, they gave us all laptops, and you know, it was basically from there on out, work from home. A year later, we're still working from home, and it's kind of insane that as far as like how that has evolved and how that has become something where I think we've all adapted pretty well for the most part in terms of like, well, I did, but it's like we've all adapted pretty okay with us staying at home a lot and just like working from home and, you know, adapting to the new lifestyle. Yeah. It's the lights at end of the tunnel. I know it sounds kind of pretentious a little bit, but like because my gut instinct in terms of like us getting out, like I wasn't thinking we're gonna get out until like 2023, maybe 24, maybe the latest 25. Just on the outside looking in and how it was, but like looking at what's been happening in the United States in terms of like how many vaccinations there've been, how fast and then large amounts are coming in, and looking at the maps, like, you know what, we might actually be out by like 2022. Like, I'm surprised.
Dr. Fauci was in a meeting, I don't know what the fuck to call it, recently, where he was talking to a bunch of people, and one of those dumb fuckers was Rand Paul, that was like, well, what about this and this? And it's like, you don't understand science. But Dr. Fauci said, like, we will get out of this by 2022. We're hoping to have as many people as we possibly can vaccinated this year by May is like the big thing.
Yeah.
And they've done a lot of studies on people who have already been vaccinated and have had the vaccination for a while now, and they've learned that like they are not catching any virus, and that they've even tested a few on different variants of the virus, and they seem to have an immunity. But that's not everybody. That's the thing about this virus. It's so weird, and they can't get a handle on exactly how it functions and who it's going to affect and how it's going to affect them. So I think with different strains, with all that kind of stuff, once we get as many people as we can vaccinated, and the rest of the world gets as many people as they can vaccinated, we continue to wear masks until mid-2020. We'll definitely be out of the woods.
And as that happens, he drops.
What the fuck? How?
Oh, the timing is so good.
How did I drop? That was so weird. Like, I didn't touch anything.
Oh, to me, you dropped. So.
No, I know I did. I completely, like, my phone just completely left the call. That was so funny.
I'm leaving that in, by the way.
I was just saying that, like he was saying by 2022, at least the beginning of 2022, we should be good.
Yeah,
we should be in. So
it's surprising. Man, proved me wrong, quite literally. So, yeah, it's yeah.
I honestly think by 2023, things will be so back to normal that it'll feel like COVID was a distant memory.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
That's my theory. But one of the big things, like, I actually cried a little bit when my dad finally got his first dose, because over the past year I've been doing everything I can to keep them safe, and him getting his first shot felt like a massive reward for all my hard work. We're trying to get my mom in there so she can get hers, but she's all afraid, because one of the big things about the vaccine is, like, if you're older and you have arthritis or you have other, like, joint issues, or just in general, people have said they just felt like shit for 2 days. You're probably going to feel like shit for 2 days. And my mom's all afraid of that. And I'm like, what's worse? Like, never being able to leave this fucking house again because you become afraid to walk out the front door, or take the goddamn vaccine? Yeah. A small price to pay. So I'm hoping to get mine by next month. My parents are on a higher bracket than I am, but we'll see.
Yeah, I'm kind of waiting. I'm kind of waiting out just a little bit, because I know everyone over here is getting it, or trying to get it. So I'm waiting to the point where, like, I can just walk in and then just, like, get it on the spot. So, but yeah. In that case, like, what is, once this is all over? And we keep saying it. I know I and other people talk about, once this is all over, I plan to do this and this. What is the first thing you're gonna do when it is, like, time to actually leave the house?
When we can actually we can be around other people without masks on, or just be in a large group setting. God, it's hard to say, because I don't do it normally, but I guess, like, I didn't go to a ton of them, but I want to go to a convention. I want to see a convention again. Like, the thing I probably miss the most, Anthony, movies, going to the theater.
Yes.
Something I miss drastically,
that.
But apparently fucking thank you, Car. Apparently the Century Theater over here is opening with limited access. Granted, there's no movies in the theater that I want to see right now, but like, shit, at this point I'd go see something. I'd go see something that's in the theater right now. Tom and Jerry, I don't fucking know, but it's just I miss it, man. Like, I miss doing that. But again, I do miss conventions. Like, I know that you can still do certain things. You can still go to Pier 39 in San Francisco. You can still, like, San Diego Zoo's still open.
Right.
There are things you can do with a mask on, but there are some things that I would never recommend until everybody is vaccinated, until COVID is a distant memory, and that is convention. And I can't wait until they're back. Like, it's gonna be fucking awesome. The first time people are gonna walk into a convention after like fucking how many years of being down, you're gonna see a lot of people cry just from fucking being overwhelmed with joy.
Absolutely, it's gonna happen. People are gonna come back to whatever they enjoy the most, and they're gonna cry. Like, it's gonna happen because it's back to what they love and what they used to do for a very long time. So, you know, I can see it.
Yeah,
I can definitely see it. Like, for me, movies. I miss going to the movies a lot. I miss that atmosphere, getting popcorn and sitting down and turning off your phone or put it on mute while you watch a movie. It's like, yes, it's that experience is always fun to do. But aside from that, I would probably use all of my save vacation time, maybe not sick leave, but like all my vacation days, PTO, whatever, to just probably go on vacation somewhere, or use those days to go to several conventions at a time to go and be part of that cycle again.
Dude, the fucking, like, honestly, like, I'm gonna work my ass off to make sure that when TwitchCon comes back, I can go.
Oh, fuck yeah. Yes. I would definitely be back for TwitchCon for sure. That'll be a lot of fun.
One of the things that needs to happen, like, fucking ASAP, Anthony, is you and I actually hanging out in goddamn person.
Yeah.
Like, the last time that happened, I think we were doing that 24-hour marathon. That was literally the last time you and I hung out in person.
Yeah. It's been quite a while since we hung out in person. So,
I mean, to be fair, I'll say this much: the people that I do the podcast with, specifically Maya, I've never hung out with her in person. So
we should make it a hell of an event. You, me, and Maya, TwitchCon.
I'll say this. I will maybe like save it. I will save it for the after when we're done recording. Mm-hmm. Just go ahead. But yeah, we should wrap up.
Yep.
We've been recording for a while now.
Absolutely. One last thing I will say. Once we're back out, I say this with no shame. I admit it to some people, and it's something that as a man, I need to do. I'm gonna fuck a lot.
I knew you were gonna say that. I was like, he's about to be horny on me.
Oh, hell yeah, dude. Yes, so that will happen in some capacity. I'm pretty sure. You know what's funny? There's a joke that went out there where it's basically like the news station or the news reporting on what's happening. So it's like, COVID cases are down, but STDs are up. Ever since COVID went away, we don't know why. So
you know what's really funny is that since lockdown and all sorts of shit, like fucking cold and flu numbers have dropped significantly. I mean, I'm not surprised STDs went up because like people are still hooking up. Like I hear that all the fucking time, like through Tinder and all those dating apps and shit like that. So,
dude, there's a couple times I had to turn down people that wanted to have sex with me, but it's like I can't. I wish, but I can't. God damn it. Anyways.
I need to know that you're clean and not like, I'll get an STD. I just don't want COVID.
Oh, man. Oh, my God. That's such a weird statement to hear in 2021.
Look, a lot of people have made it. Like one way or another, a lot of people have said it. So
yeah. Oh man. But yeah, I believe it's time to wrap up the show. So before we wrap it up, Greg, where can they find you on the internet?
You can find me on all socials under Chub Rock Geek. I'm more active on Twitter than anywhere else. But I also have a podcast that I do with two of my friends, Betty Badger Ogletree and Maya Fisher. What we do is we review shows that you can only find on streaming services. Right now, we're going to be reviewing Falcon and Winter Soldier every week.
Hell yeah!
Watch the first episode of that. Like, I don't want to spoil anything because it is literally the day after it premiered, so I'm just going to keep my mouth shut on that. But you know, if you enjoyed WandaVision, if you enjoy the Marvel movies, I recommend it. It's a super fun fucking thing. But yeah, we're going to be talking about the first episode of that this upcoming episode, which we record Wednesdays, release Fridays. The episode that was just released yesterday is a old school Uninhibited. It was a bit of a like back when COVID first started. Maya and I were doing Uninhibited, where we would just talk about whatever we wanted to talk about because shit kind of sucked, and we were just wanting to talk about things, just discuss things. So when we were doing that, we kind of got carried away and just weren't watching anything. But now that things have kind of calmed down, things have changed for a lot of us in different ways, and we have a new because it was just Maya and I for a long time. Now it's Betty as well. What we like to do is, like, instead of watching a whole show, we like to do the shows that now are episodic, where you might have noticed that a lot of shows that are on Paramount, HBO Max, Disney Plus, they come out one episode a week, like they would on TV. They premiere once a week. So we do those now. We just do an episode, talk about it for like 20 to 30 minutes, and then we just talk about whatever we want after that. Maybe play a game or something like that. So it's kind of evolved into a different podcast, but I still want to keep it home where it started, which is where you helped us start the fucking podcast, Anthony, where we review shows on streaming services. That's where the home of it is and the heart of it is. So, this particular Uninhibited was what I like to call ADD, the podcast, where we just go until somebody changes the subject, and then we just go on that until somebody changes the subject, and we just keep rolling with it. If you had a point you wanted to make in the past subject, too bad. You just go.
Right.
I personally love doing that. It's super fun. But yeah, if that's something that sounds like it's up your alley, go check out All Queued Up on any streaming or on any podcast service that you use. We have it all uploaded to there. But now we also have a video version that goes up on YouTube every week, which is really nice. So yeah, that's All Queued Up podcast.
Awesome.
That's it, and that's all.
Sweet.
Find me winning crowns on Fall Guys, I guess.
Yeah, that is very true. For me, you can follow me on Twitter. Well, my personal Twitter at Defective Naruto, my VTuber Twitter at Clawmaster_. By the time the next video happens, this another quarterly update, it'll be around the time where I have debuted or about to debut, because I'm planning to debut my VTuber extravaganza June 18th on my birthday. So I'm planning to do that. That's going to be a new adventure for me and content you'll see on this channel, which is going to be very jarring to see between what Gregg does and then what I'm planning to do. So that's going to be interesting for sure. Outside of that, more probably this YouTube channel, and I'll probably put the links below in the comments for like what else you can find me, because I got like a ton of other social links that I've made, I created, are going to be planned to be used in the future for future video content. But that's going to do it for this quarterly update between the two of us. We have no name for this video podcast, so I'm not quite sure.
I think
it's something. It's something. So
I think quarterly checkup is actually a good name for it.
The quarterly checkup. I'll look for like
quarterly something. Maybe not checkup if you don't want the joke of like, a doctor's office, but I like the idea of like it being a quarterly roundup. I don't almost sound like a cleaner.
Like I envision the quarterly checkup of like I can put my head on a doctor like doing the thing, and then like you're in the background getting ready.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, hold on. I don't know if you can cut my face out, but okay, there you go. There's the thumbnail for you.
Awesome. Thank you for that. Oh, it's been a blast. I can't wait for all this to blow over and get back to doing what we love to do, man. So
yeah.
With that,
yeah, I miss doing these with you. I think with my new phone, I can also record videos a little easier now and edit them a little easier. So
right.
Hopefully, you'll get more that you can edit. Where is the Immortals Phoenix Rising one?
Funny you should ask. That review will be up next week.
Nice. Okay, there you go.
Yep.
I need to record. I have them written down, literally right there. I see them every day. Still haven't recorded.
Gotcha.
But I'm also thinking about doing. How do you feel about me doing reviews for games that I played that are new to me?
Yeah.
I recently played all the way through the Ratchet and Clank, the remake that came out a few years ago.
Oh, nice.
So I was thinking about doing a small review of it, but it feels weird because it's like not new.
Look, at this point, the YouTube channel and Mission Start for that matter, it's pretty much whatever content we want to do on the YouTube channel. We're not tied or binded to it has to be new, it has to be this, how it used to be with the previous Mission Start content. Nah, this is your oyster, man.
Fair point. Fair fucking point.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we'll expect a Ratchet and Clank review.
Fuck yeah. Anyway,
do you want here? I have a question for you,
okay.
Just so the audience understands. I edited and I put music on it.
Yes.
Do you want me to do that, or do you want to add the music?
I would rather add. I would rather add the music. I didn't mind it per se, but it allows me to adjust the audio levels better than what you give me.
Then I'll send you the audio that I want then.
Yep, absolutely.
So.
Sweet. Alrighty. Is there anything else you want to get off your chest before I try a third time to end the podcast?
Real quick, I don't have a large voice, but I do want to say, with recent events in the world, the Asian community is hurting right now. Now, a lot.
Yeah.
Big time. And if you're the type of piece of shit that is blaming Asian Americans for a virus that came from a country, you're the same kind of piece of shit that was blaming some random Middle Eastern of descent American for 9/11. You're the same piece of shit that agreed to internment camps for Japanese people after the bombing of Pearl Harbor. You're the same piece of shit that decides that your skin color is somehow superior to somebody else. I can't imagine what your worldview looks like because you're an absolute monster. That's as simple as it gets. There's a hashtag going around now that's Stop Asian Hate. Legitimately, when I saw this, I was surprised because I didn't know that it was a thing. I didn't know that it was happening. Why? That's part of my white privilege. I didn't have to deal with that because I'm white. When you are so fucking dense and stupid that you go, white privilege is not a thing. That's your fucking white privilege, you stupid ass.
Couldn't have said it much better than you, my friend. I know for certain.
Angry.
Angry,
Gregg.
I know for certain for those who do want to donate to some organizations that help fight against Asian hate, they're out there. And definitely look it up and definitely donate it. There are content creators, streamers, and people of the like who are actually doing charity streams. I know I donated 10 Get the Subs last night to a friend of mine who was hosting a DJ set and was raising all funds for it. Unintentionally, I almost made her cry, but that's because she and I have been friends for a while, and like the gravity of what's going on. So, but yes, definitely, I agree with Gregg. there should be more love in the world. We shouldn't have to be like this, and it's unfortunate that we are. But if you really want to do something,
I want to make it clear: if you're a white person and you don't recognize what white privilege is, that does not mean, I cannot emphasize this enough, it does not mean you haven't had a hard life. It does not mean that you haven't had to struggle for things. It just means that people who are not white have had a bit of a stronger struggle than you for a variety of things. Recognize that it's a thing. If you're a male, a straight male, understand that you've had a privilege that you didn't even know you fucking had. It exists. It's really there. That doesn't mean as a man that you've had it easy. It just means that, like, yes, you walking down the street at night, you are risking your safety because you could get mugged, because you could get hit by something, because somebody could just randomly want to hit you with a pipe as they're riding a bike. Yes, those things can happen. Women have to deal with a few extra fucking things. Like, oh, I don't know, a rapist, kidnappers, fucking, the sex trafficker. People who are not you have to deal with other things. And if you can't find the fucking basic empathy to understand where these people are coming from, a hearty, well-rounded, fuck you.
Well said. Very well said.
I hope you clip this and just put this on fucking social media, Anthony, because I want people to hear it.
If you want, your wish is my command.
100% please.
It shall be done. All right. With that being said, again, thank you for watching. Thank you for people who've been subscribing to the YouTube channel. I still don't understand why you guys do, but you do somehow. Also, I should throw in the obligatory. Did you know that 90% of people watching this YouTube channel aren't subscribers? You should subscribe to check out all our content on our YouTube channel. Outside of that, I'm just happy that there's people watching our shit, and it surprises me to this day that we entertain them for some goddamn reason. So, with that being said, thank you for watching. We'll see you again in another 3 months, and then enjoy the content we are producing right now on the YouTube channel. So, with that being said, thank you for watching, and see you guys next time.